Hi there, my name is Floyd. Welcome to another gripping story on our channel. Today we're diving into the dark and twisted world of the Vipers, a group of women who used seduction as a weapon and paid the ultimate price. Let's get started. In the heart of the city, where power and wealth intertwine, there lies a nightclub unlike any other. The lights are dim, the music is a slow, sultry beat, and the air is thick with the scent of desire and danger. It's here, among the shadows and whispers, that Sofia first appears. Her figure is poised, her every movement calculated, drawing the attention of a wealthy man who can't help but fall into her trap. He's not the first, and he won't be the last. But tonight, Sofia's allure is more than just a tool. It's a weapon, sharp and deadly. In this world, nothing is what it seems. Behind Sofia's enchanting smile lies a story far darker than the glimmering facade of this luxurious club. She's part of a group that calls themselves the Vipers, women who've turned seduction into an art of manipulation, targeting the wealthy and powerful, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. But Sofia is not just another beautiful face in the crowd. Beneath her exterior, she battles inner demons, fragments of a past that haunt her, pushing her into this life yet also pulling her towards something more. She longs for escape, for something real in a world built on deceit. Sofia isn't alone in this dangerous game. There are three others, Luna, Isabella, and Mara, each with their own darkness, each with their own reasons for joining this twisted sisterhood. Luna, the cold and calculating leader, has scars that run deep. Once a corporate powerhouse, she was betrayed and left with nothing but a thirst for control. Now, she channels that need into the Vipers, ensuring that no one crosses them without paying the ultimate price. Isabella, the femme fatale, is the master of disguise and seduction. Her beauty is her shield, hiding the trauma that drives her to exploit the very men who once took everything from her. She's the one who lures them in, making them believe they're in control, only to shatter their delusions in the end. Mara, the tech-savvy manipulator, has her own vendetta. She was once a victim, a pawn in a powerful man's game until she decided to rewrite the rules. Now, she's the one pulling the strings, using her skills to exact revenge on those who think they're untouchable. These women are more than just a group. They are a force, bound together by shared pain and a relentless drive for power. But within their unity lies the seeds of their own destruction. And it all begins with Sofia, whose heart is torn between her loyalty to the Vipers and the flicker of something more. Something that could either save her or destroy her. The Vipers didn't start as a well-oiled machine. They were four broken women, each with a past filled with betrayal, pain, and loss. Luna was the first to gather the others. She had seen the darkest side of the corporate world, a place where trust was a currency as easily lost as gained. When she lost everything due to a partner's deceit, something in her snapped. She knew that the power she sought couldn't be found in boardrooms but in the shadows. Isabella was next, brought into the fold after Luna witnessed her ability to turn a predator into prey. Isabella had been a victim, but she refused to remain one. Her beauty became her armor, her weapon, and she wielded it with deadly precision. She was perfect for Luna's plan, someone who could draw in the most guarded men and make them vulnerable. Mara joined last, a survivor of the digital world's harsh realities. She had been silenced once, her reputation destroyed by a man who feared her knowledge. But Mara was resilient, and her skills with technology became her means of vengeance. With Luna's guidance, she turned her talents toward more tangible rewards, using her expertise to dig up secrets that others would pay dearly to keep hidden. Together, they became the Vipers, a name whispered among the elite, feared by those who knew what it meant to be targeted. Their first scheme was a masterpiece of manipulation. Luna identified a wealthy executive who had a penchant for young, beautiful women. Isabella played her part flawlessly, ensnaring him with ease. Mara dug deep into his digital life, finding the secrets that would ruin him. And Sofia, though hesitant, played her role in the charade, helping to stage the scene that would lead to his downfall. The plan was executed with cold precision. They cornered him, exposed his darkest secrets, and forced him into submission. The payoff was substantial, the power intoxicating. But for Sofia, The victory was bittersweet. She had done what was necessary, but the look in the man's eyes as his world crumbled stayed with her. It was then she realized that their path was not just about money, it was about control, and the cost was higher than she had anticipated. Sofia's discomfort began to grow, though she hid it well. The others celebrated their success, but Sofia's mind was elsewhere, haunted by the moral lines they had crossed. She started to question the life she had chosen, wondering if there was a way out. It was during this time that Sofia met the businessman. Unlike their usual targets, he was kind, attentive, and seemed genuinely interested in her as a person, not just a pretty face. He treated her with a respect that she hadn't felt in a long time. Sofia found herself drawn to him, not for the thrill of the game, but for the warmth he offered. For the first time in years, she felt something other than the cold calculation that had come to define her life. But in the world of the Vipers, distractions could be deadly. Luna was the first to notice Sofia's growing attachment to the businessman. At first, she dismissed it as a temporary lapse, but as the days passed, Sofia's distraction became more apparent. Luna, ever the strategist, began to watch Sofia more closely, her mind already calculating the potential risks. The tension within the group began to simmer, subtle at first, but undeniable. Isabella and Mara, focused on their next targets, noticed Sofia's hesitation but didn't see the full picture. For them, the thrill of the hunt was all that mattered. But Luna was different. She knew that in their line of work, trust was paramount, and Sofia's wavering loyalty was a crack in their foundation that could bring everything crashing down. As Sofia's emotions became more entangled, the dynamics within the Vipers started to shift. Conversations became shorter, eyes lingered longer, and unspoken questions hung in the air. Sofia could feel the weight of their suspicions, but she couldn't bring herself to let go of the one thing that made her feel human again. The Vipers were still united, but the bonds that held them together were beginning to fray. And in their world, a fracture could quickly become a fault line, threatening to shatter everything they had built. Sofia's connection with the businessman deepened with each passing day. What began as a casual flirtation turned into something more profound, something real. He saw beyond her surface, beyond the facade she had carefully constructed. For the first time in years, Sofia felt understood and appreciated for who she was rather than what she could offer. This newfound emotion terrified her as much as it thrilled her. She knew the risks, but her heart began to overpower the cold logic that had guided her for so long. In the quiet moments they shared, Sofia found herself imagining a different life, a life away from the Vipers, away from the manipulation and lies. But every time she allowed herself to dream, the reality of her situation pulled her back. The Vipers were not just a group, they were her family, the only ones who had ever truly known her. Yet, the businessman's kindness made her question everything. Could she really leave behind the only life she had ever known for a chance at something real? As Sofia wrestled with her emotions, memories of her past began to surface, memories she had long buried. She remembered the girl she used to be, before the betrayals, before the world had hardened her. There was a time when she believed in love, in trust, in the goodness of people. But that girl had been shattered, piece by piece, until Sofia became the woman who would do anything to survive. The businessman's gentle touch and caring words stirred those long-forgotten feelings, and with them, the pain of what she had lost. The more she cared for him, the more she felt the weight of the decisions she had made. But in the world of the Vipers, emotions were dangerous. Sofia knew that if she wasn't careful, her growing feelings could lead to her downfall, and she wasn't the only one who sensed it. Luna's sharp eyes missed nothing. She had built the Vipers on trust, on the unspoken understanding that each woman knew her place and played her part. Sofia's increasing distraction didn't go unnoticed, and Luna's suspicions grew. She began to watch Sofia closely, piecing together the fragments of her behavior that didn't add up. Sofia's late-night absences, her reluctance to fully engage in their schemes, and the distant look in her eyes all pointed to something or someone drawing her away. Luna's investigation was subtle but thorough. She quietly retraced Sofia's steps, delving into her phone records and tracking her movements. What she found confirmed her worst fears. Sofia was spending more time with the businessman, a potential threat to their entire operation. Luna's mind raced with possibilities. Had Sofia betrayed them? Was she planning to leave? Or worse, had she divulged their secrets to an outsider? The tension within the Vipers was palpable. While Isabella and Mara remained focused on their tasks, the shift in group dynamics was undeniable. Conversations became strained, with Luna's unspoken suspicions hanging in the air like a dark cloud. Isabella, always intuitive, sensed the change but couldn't pinpoint its source. Mara, consumed by her own need for revenge, was less concerned with Sofia's behavior, but even she noticed the growing divide. The once unbreakable bond between the women was fraying, and it was only a matter of time before it snapped. Sofia felt the shift as well. She could sense Luna's eyes on her, the way the others hesitated before speaking as if they were measuring their words. The safety she once felt within the group was slipping away, replaced by an undercurrent of distrust. Sofia knew that if she didn't act soon, the walls would close in around her. It was in this moment of clarity that Sofia made her decision. She couldn't continue living this double life, caught between the man who made her feel alive and the group that had become a prison. She confided in the businessman, sharing just enough of her fears to convey the danger she was in. Together, they began to plan her escape, a new life far away from the Vipers, where they could be together without the constant threat of violence. But Sofia's plan wasn't as foolproof as she hoped. There was something about the businessman's reassurances that didn't sit right with her, a fleeting look in his eyes that made her question his loyalty. Yet, driven by desperation and the need to escape, she pushed those doubts aside. She couldn't afford to be paranoid, not now, not when she was so close to freedom. As they set the plan in motion, Sofia couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to go terribly wrong. But with her options dwindling and time running out, she had no choice but to trust the man she hoped would save her from the very world she had helped create. The night was set for Sofia's escape. She had meticulously planned every detail with the businessman, believing that by morning she would be free from the web of deceit that had entangled her life. The meeting was arranged at a secluded location, a place where she could say her goodbyes to the Vipers under the guise of one last job. But as Sofia approached the rendezvous point, a sense of unease gripped her. The air was thick with anticipation, and the shadows seemed to move with a life of their own. Sofia stepped into the dimly lit room, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and hope. She expected to see the businessman waiting with open arms, ready to whisk her away to a new life. Instead, she found Luna, Isabella, and Mara standing in the shadows, their faces cold and unreadable. The businessman was there too, but the warmth she had once seen in his eyes was gone, replaced by a calculating gaze that sent a chill down her spine. The realization hit Sofia like a thunderbolt. She had been betrayed. The businessman, the one person she thought she could trust, had sold her out to the Vipers. Luna stepped forward, her voice icy and controlled. "Did you really think you could leave us, Sofia? Did you think we wouldn't find out?" The words were a knife to Sofia's heart. She had been so careful, so certain that she could outsmart them. But now, standing before her former sisters, she saw the truth. There was no escape from the Vipers, not for her, not for anyone. The confrontation that followed was raw and emotional, a stripping away of all pretense. Luna accused Sofia of betrayal and of breaking the unspoken code that had held them together. Sofia, with tears in her eyes, pleaded for understanding, trying to make them see that she was only trying to find a way out of a life that was slowly killing her. But the Vipers were unmoved. For them, loyalty was absolute, and Sofia's actions were unforgivable. Isabella, always the most pragmatic, stepped forward with a cold smile. "We've all wanted out at some point, Sofia, but the difference is, we didn't run. We didn't betray the ones who gave us a second chance." Mara, silent until now, simply shook her head, her disappointment evident. The woman who had once been her ally was now her enemy. The tension in the room reached a breaking point as words turned into accusations, and accusations into threats. Luna, always in control, finally snapped, her voice laced with venom. "You're no longer one of us, Sofia, and you know what happens to those who cross the Vipers." At that moment, The fragile bond that had held the group together shattered. The argument escalated into a violent struggle, each woman fighting not just for power but for survival. Sofia, driven by a desperate need to escape, fought with a ferocity she didn't know she possessed. The room became a battleground of clashing wills and broken dreams. Luna, determined to maintain her control, lashed out with calculated precision. Isabella, torn between her lingering affection for Sofia and her loyalty to Luna, hesitated, just long enough for Sofia to land a decisive blow. Mara, the least prepared for physical confrontation, was quickly overpowered, her tech skills useless in this brutal fight. The struggle was fierce, chaotic, and deadly. In the end, it was Sofia's sheer will to survive that gave her the edge. She fought like a cornered animal driven by the primal need to escape. One by one, her former allies fell, each blow a painful reminder of what they had once meant to her. But in this fight, there was no room for mercy. As the dust settled, Sofia stood among the ruins of what had once been her life. The bodies of Luna, Isabella, and Mara lay motionless, their ambitions and betrayals finally silenced. But there was no victory in this scene, only loss and the haunting realization that she had become what she had always feared. With the last of her strength, Sofia fled the scene, her mind numb with the horror of what she had done. She didn't look back as she disappeared into the night, leaving behind the twisted remains of the Vipers. The world she had known was gone, and in its place was an uncertain future, a future where she would always be looking over her shoulder, haunted by the ghosts of her past. The Vipers, a name once feared, now nothing more than a memory. Their rise to power was swift, built on the shattered lives of those they manipulated, and their fall was equally devastating. What began as a bond forged in pain and shared ambition ended in betrayal, blood, and death. Sofia, the last Viper standing, escaped the carnage, but at what cost? As she moves through the shadows of a new city, Sofia is no longer the woman she once was. The fire that fueled her desire for a different life has been extinguished, replaced by the cold realization that the past is not so easily left behind. Every corner she turns, every unfamiliar face she sees, reminds her that she is a fugitive, not just from the law but from her own conscience. The Vipers may be gone, but their legacy lives on in Sofia's haunted eyes. She carries the weight of their sins, a burden that will follow her wherever she goes. The luxury she once craved means nothing now, for in her quest to escape the darkness, she has only found more shadows. Sofia's story is far from over. In this new city, where no one knows her name, she tries to rebuild, to find some semblance of peace. But the echoes of her past are never far behind. They whisper to her in the dead of night, reminding her that she can run from her past, but she can never truly escape it. The story of the Vipers is a cautionary tale, a reminder of how far people can go when driven by desperation and ambition. But what do you think? Could Sofia ever find redemption? Or is she doomed to be haunted by her past forever? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you believe there's a way out for someone like Sofia, or is she trapped in a never-ending cycle of fear and regret? If you found this story as compelling as we did, make sure to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more gripping stories of crime, betrayal, and the human condition. Your support helps us continue to bring you the most intriguing tales from the shadows. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.